On January 18th, 2024, I invited 3 esteemed guest speakers from Kingsisle Entertainment for a Q&A about housing in their MMORPG Pirate 101. But before we continue, I'd like to give y'all's attention to this right here. You see, 99.8% of y'all who watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. So please, help us make the subscribe number go bigger from 0.2% to actually like a bigger percent. Bigger percent of subscribers mean bigger projects for us to do and potentially bigger collabs besides Kingsisle Entertainment, and probably a bigger schedule and a bigger lineup for a lot of amazing gaming content from Channel Nintendo. Please be sure to give a thumbs up on this video and share this video as well, and leave a comment below to help us out in the YouTube algorithm for it to love our channel some more, as well as this video, and also as a great motivation for me to upload more Pirate 101 content, including potential housing tips in the form of YouTube Shorts. But for now, thank you for listening, and let's get on with the video. Welcome on in. We're just getting started with our 1 hour special featuring our guest speakers. If you all would like to go ahead and introduce who each of y'all are to anybody at home who is unfamiliar with who y'all are from Kingsisle Entertainment.
My name is Hercules, the son of Zeus. I am the community manager for Pirate 101, the best video game in the world.
All right, I'm Swordroll, a systems designer for Pirate 101.
And I'm Ryan. I go by Bradley Barnacle in the Discords. I'm the product designer on the pirate side.
Awesome, awesome. And I am today's host, Meltendo, where we shall go over a bunch of things on Pirate 101 housing. And let's make sure that, yep, my ship is actually visible. So, gentlemen, if y'all could go ahead and follow me.
To add
Hercules!
One question I have in mind is, like, the last major house we've had was from the Empire bundle, which was Aquila themed. Can we hear about what led to Polaris being the next house to be released as a bundle house as well?
Yeah, totally. You know, whenever we plan all these things, we have meetings with, production writers and the art team. And that was kind of a joint decision between everyone that it's something that exists in Pirate, but hasn't been fully expanded upon, but is still very big in Wizard. So it's one that we could meet kind of halfway and do a dual release that we figured both people would be, or both games would be excited to see.
Hercules!
Is it physically possible to still have additional world housing for the other worlds that Pirate has, even since we can also select Grizzleheim and Krokotopia as our origin stories?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we could do more in the future. Right now, I think the main problem with housing is just that, so on the design side, this has been talked about a lot. The main thing we're working towards is user acquisition and bringing up the player base. We're on the product side. We're reaching revenue goals. And one thing about housing is that it takes a lot. It's a big effort between lots of little things that, you might not even think about. Like, you still need audio guys to go in. You need effects guys to go in, or effects people. That's on top of all the art, the design, the planning and everything. So it's a big undertaking. And currently the way that houses work in Pirate is they can all be bought for gold unless it's inside of a bundle. So it's kind of hard to justify, say, like building a new house to sell in the Crown Shop if it's not going to be packed with some kind of bundle or some sort of cross promotion between both games, because that's where we can get the most benefit out of that, if that makes sense. Because I would love to see like a Marley Bone house. That would be amazing, but it's a really big undertaking.
Hercules!
The whole planning process of making the Polaris house, did that take a while? Did y'all have to start from scratch, or was there stuff from Wizard 101 y'all were able to like work with at least for the Polaris house?
As far as I understand, the design itself was completely from scratch, but I'm not on the art team, so I can't really speak too much on it. But as they develop worlds, they create a bunch of textures and assets to go along with that. So there are pre-existing Polaris textures that they could use for, say, like the ground and walls and things like that. So that's something where that can be helpful.
Hercules!
Regarding housing system, I had a little discussion with Decius one time, and he said that the fundamentals, the foundation of Pirate 101's housing came from Gary's design. And Odysseus would say that there would be like a middle person to transfer Gary's systems from Wiz over to Pirate. And I'm wondering, as you guys are continuing to actually do that, are y'all able to handle that on your own, or would you need to have Gary do some supervising to make sure everything that he had in Wiz is set in stone for Pirate?
That would be something that Gary is a tech person, so we would need a technical person to come into Pirate and be able to adapt the stuff from
Hercules!
Would having a tour system from Wiz be like a very massive, time-consuming undertaking? And if we have a whole additional housing update for like more systems in place and more interactive furniture, that would require a test realm to make sure everything is working, right?
I was gonna say it really kind of depends from each individual thing that we try to bring over, because it does get a little tricky. And I'm not a programmer, but I know, speaking to programmers and stuff, we use the same engine and it's the same framework and everything, but the code is not one-to-one between both games. So it's not until we actually get a tech person to go in and try and figure out the code and the mechanics and stuff that we really get a better idea of how big of a task that is. Because there's a lot of unexpected things just because the code is not, one-to-one in both games.
Ooh, I see.
So some stuff could be easy, some stuff could look like it'll be really easy, but whenever we get in there, it's like a really big task.
Would it be a little more simpler for you guys to start working on furniture functionality? Because I can imagine like adding a new house in general would be quite an undertaking. One thing that we've had so far is importing furniture from Wizard 101 over to Pirate, which I assume is not that bad of a deal, even if the code is different. One thing that people would like are like more functional furniture, such as the mini games, the Tapestry system, and mannequins, as well as hangable weapons. But these are all furniture that actually have specific functions, like the interactable room dividers that I present to you guys. I can imagine that would still take some work, but is that feasible to do even on a time crunch?
It's feasible. The hardest part is when these interactions include FX requirements and more art requirements. And it's a question of, do we want to spend that time and resource on making more housing items? Or do we want to create playable content, as it were? Hercules!
I do remember, like, Odysseus, or no, otherwise known as Joel, he said he wanted to port the Skytrain robbery gauntlet from Wiz over to Pirate. Now, since it's already got an environment as well as a setting and characters and stuff, is it possible to work from that instead of a brand new gauntlet, to like retool that entire gauntlet for Pirate and have different drops for it instead of constructing a new gauntlet entirely?
In terms of porting stuff over, like Ryan had said earlier, it's not a one-to-one, so it may seem easier to be like, oh, we could just grab the stuff from that particular bundle and bring it over. But we don't know the actual constraints that we'd be operating under until we try. So, I said, that's more of a tech task as well. It would be a tech task, design task, art task, because the scaling is not the same and all that. But it may be easier to just start a new gauntlet rather than do that, but we don't know. So we would have to look into it and see what the constraints are, because Ryan said some things you would think would be super easy to port over actually turned out to be a lot more effort than you think, and vice versa. Some things you think would be hard to do would actually be a lot less effort.
So one thing, we would have a huge head start on the assets because we've got all these assets and things, but also to a point that was made earlier to kind of elaborate on, like even something simple like porting a housing item, the collision and the nodes, they port over just fine. But at some point in the development of the games, the light settings were made a little bit different. So even if we want to port a single housing item, we need to bring that back into Max or 3D program and have an artist go and do the light settings, make sure it looks right in the game.
True.
Because if we port stuff directly, the colors can be a little off and stuff. So even small things like that can have unexpected tasks pile up on them.
Yeah.
So, but I do love that gauntlet, and I mean, it makes so much sense in Pirate.
Right.
I'm curious exactly what tech needs would be required for that. But that's a really good question, and that's something that I'll have on line for a minute. I'll talk with Theseus about that.
Hercules!
So, something I notice in the decorating UI is this section called musical scrolls.
which that icon, I believe, has been added as of this latest version of Pirate. Is there any commentary anybody would like to provide on that, or is it a stay tuned and find out later kind of deal?
I think that's more of a stay tuned kind of deal. I don't know if there's anybody here who can speak too concretely on that, unless somebody else knows one.
What was the question?
The new musical scrolls category in the decorating UI, I was just double checking if anybody can provide any commentary, or is it a stay tuned and find out later kind of deal?
Stay tuned for more information.
And if it's what people presume, then it's what people could presume is coming up eventually.
I don't know. What are people presuming? People should drop some theories in the chat.
Hercules!
Oh yeah, regarding housing at the moment, has there been anything on y'all's mind that you have considered to... Well, we're going to continuously get new furniture for sure, but in terms of systems and stuff, and I believe I mentioned like a lot of stuff from Wizard 101 that people would love in Pirate, has there been anything on y'all's mind that we would love to see happen in 2024 at least? Even if you can't explain everything that y'all might do to housing, but like at least stuff y'all had in mind, anything you could say.
Not anything that I'm gonna like give away or anything, but if I could have anything ported over, I would say I really like the system that they have in Wizard. It's kind of newer, where you can phase objects and scale objects and things like that, which would allow all kinds of crazy combinations and building objects with objects and stuff. I like that a lot, but I have no idea what the process would be to bring that over. That's just one that I think is really cool. Plus Castle Magic, really awesome too.
Yeah.
Having things, I would love that. Just adding more interactability and more ways to customize, build things from different things.
Isn't Castle Magic one of those tools that y'all originally like use, but you like make a version of it for the players to essentially like build like these crazy creations with in housing? Especially since there are RPGs and games out there that have these dimensional, restricted by specific dimensions houses. But there's like one or a couple of RPGs I play where you can turn off the setting for magnetism of putting furniture down in specific dimensions, and you could do freeform decorating to have, instead of X and Y axis 1, you can have 1.25, 1.75 on the axis instead.
Right.
Is that something that y'all might be able to try to have a setting for pirate housing going forward?
That would be a tech question, so we'd have to ask our tech persons and see if they would take the level of effort to bring that over into Pirate would be.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just mentioning those as dream systems to be in the game, like what I would love to see.
Hercules!
Any closing remarks, Miltendo?
I will say that it's absolutely wonderful to have y'all here, and I would definitely love to get together another time, since I would love to show you all whatever I've been working on regarding player housing. But this is just the first session sit down we had together, and I say it was pretty productive. And should there be anything that we haven't covered today, I would love to be able to cover next time that we could get together.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, thank you so much for the stream.
Thanks for hosting.
Ryan, thank you for your time. Dominic, thank you for your time.
Oh.
Me, huzzah.
Thanks for the invite.
Miltendo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Miltendo, much appreciated. This was fantastic. Everyone have a good rest of your day. GG, fellas. It's 5 o'clock.
Thanks, Miltendo.
It's quitting time for us.
Absolutely. I'll say, like, make sure you guys get home safely, because we definitely want you guys to get home safe, rest well, and be ready for another day we can get together.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody. Thank you to all our guest speakers for participating.
If you like Kingsisle Entertainment's content, please be sure to follow them on their social media, as well as subscribing to their YouTube channel. Also, make sure to tune in to Kingsisle Live on Twitch every month for any big updates regarding Wizard 101 and hopefully potentially Pirate 101 as well. If you like my video this time around, once again, leave a thumbs up to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below for any feedback regarding this video or any other episodes in the future, and please be sure to stay tuned to my channel for any Pirate 101 related YouTube shorts regarding my Pirate 101 accomplishments or Pirate 101 housing tips in tandem with these kind of video specials. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your week or day.
Here's my patrons at Patreon. If I had one!
Sorry? Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video, so be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon for more videos from my channel.